Morbius is extremely frustrating because you can tell they gave this the 2016 Suicide Squad treatment. There was potentially a good movie here, but Leatherface broke into the editing room and just chainsawed the heck out of this movie. Morbius stars Jared Leto as a man with a rare blood disease who discovers how to splice his genes with bat DNA, which has the side effect of turning him into a blood-sucking vampire. I thought the trailers made the movie look pretty cheap and boring, but I was actually very surprised at how good the production values were. Some of the special effects are a little wonky, particularly with the villain design, but some of them, like when Jared Leto goes full vampire mode, actually look pretty cool. For the first 40 minutes, I thought, this is pretty entertaining. I don't know what critics were complaining about, but then when it hit the 40-minute mark, I thought, oh, okay, I get it now. As I hinted at before, the terrible editing just ruined this movie. If you compare the trailers to the movie, there are a lot of scenes that did not make the final cut. There's a scene where Morbius is running away from cops inside of a building, and the whole scene is basically just Morbius running away in the lobby, and then he flies up to the top of the ceiling and breaks through to the roof. And then he awkwardly almost falls off the roof in slow motion, but catches himself. And then suddenly we cut to Tyrese Gibson pointing his gun and he says, "Enough!" And I'm thinking, enough of what? The action scene just started. But you can tell that this scene was originally much longer because in the trailer they show Tyrese Gibson holding his hand to his bleeding neck and he yells, "Michael, stop! You don't hurt people! You save people!" And they cut all that out, and later in the movie they even show Gibson walking around with a scar on his neck, but we never saw him get that scar because they cut it out. And then characters will have dramatic conversations that feel really out of context. Like Leto will be talking with Matt Smith, and Leto will say something like, "You don't want this life, it's a curse." And I'm like, dude, you've been a vampire for 20 minutes. This conversation is not justified. I want to learn more about the making of this movie because I have a suspicion that studio interference was involved in ruining yet another super anti-hero movie. I liked Jared Leto as Morbius, and I think he's a cool character, and I hope to see him again in a supporting role in Sony's Spider-Man universe in the future, and I hope they release a director's cut because, man, this edit was abysmal. Wait for this movie to come out on streaming and don't pay money to rent it.